photos slipped from the envelope like autumn leaves, scattering across the pristine hotel bed. My hands trembled as I picked up each one, the images burning themselves into my retinas. My husband Milo and my best friend Yvonne, tangled in intimate embraces across what looked like half the globe: Paris, Bali, New York. My name is Mila, and until 5 minutes ago, I thought I was celebrating my 10th wedding anniversary at the most romantic coastal resort money could buy. "Babe, did you unpack my toiletries?" Milo called from the bathroom, his voice echoing off marble tiles. I quickly stuffed the photos back into the envelope, my heart thundering against my ribs. "Not yet," I managed to keep my voice steady. "Still working on it." The irony wasn't lost on me. Just yesterday I'd been telling my sister Melanie how lucky I was. 10 years, I'd gushed into the phone. "Can you believe it? We made it." Now I stood in our ocean view suite, staring at the evidence of their betrayal. The timestamps on the photos went back months. That weekend, Yvonne said she was at a marketing conference in Manhattan. There she was, kissing my husband in Central Park. "Found them!" Milo emerged, all 6 feet of polished charm. "Hey, you okay? You look pale." I forced a smile. "Just tired from the flight." He crossed the room and kissed my forehead. The gesture made my stomach turn. "Why don't you freshen up? I made dinner reservations at that seafood place you wanted to try." I nodded, buying time. The rational part of my brain screamed to wait, to think this through. But 10 years of trust had just shattered like fine china on concrete. "Actually," I said, pulling out the envelope, "maybe you can explain these first." The change in his expression was subtle but immediate. A slight tightening around the eyes, a barely perceptible clench of his jaw. He took the envelope without a word. "How long?" I asked. He thumbed through the photos with the casual interest of someone flipping through a stranger's vacation album. "Does it matter?" "It matters to me," my voice cracked. "She's my best friend, Milo. We've known each other since college." He laughed then, actually laughed, and the sound cut deeper than any knife. "Maybe that's the problem. You're still living in college, Mila, still playing house. Yvonne understands me more than you ever did." The words hit like physical blows. Every shared memory, every late-night conversation with Yvonne about my marriage troubles, every time she'd hugged me and said, "He'll come around." It all twisted into something ugly and poisonous. "I've given you everything," I whispered. "Have you?" He tossed the envelope onto the bed. "You gave me what you thought I should want. The perfect wife, the perfect home, the perfect life. It's suffocating." I walked to the door on legs that felt like water. My hand was on the handle when he spoke again. "Where are you going?" "I need air." "Don't be dramatic, Mila. We can talk about this like adults." I turned back, surprised by how calm I felt. "You're right. We should talk about everything, including those 22 wire transfers you made last month." His face went slack. For the first time in our marriage, I saw real fear in his eyes. "What did you say?" "Nothing," I smiled, the expression feeling foreign on my face. "I just need some air." The hallway was mercifully empty as I walked to the elevator. My legs finally gave out once I was inside, and I slumped against the mirrored wall. In my purse, sealed in a waterproof bag, was a USB drive containing enough evidence to destroy not just his marriage, but his entire carefully constructed world. I caught my reflection in the elevator mirror, mascara slightly smudged, lips trembling. But my eyes were clear and hard as diamonds. Let him think I was running away to cry. Let him believe he'd broken me. He had no idea what was coming. The elevator doors opened to the lobby, and I straightened my spine. Time to make some calls. 7 days earlier, I sat cross-legged on our home office floor, surrounded by papers I was never meant to see. My original mission had been sweet and simple. Check our accounts to plan a surprise anniversary trip. Instead, I'd stumbled into a labyrinth of financial records that made my blood run cold. 22 transfers, I muttered, spreading the bank's statements across the hardwood. All to different companies, all exactly $49,999. My phone buzzed. Zuriel's name flashing on the screen. I'd called in a favour from the investigative journalist whose home I'd redesigned last year. He had a way of finding truth in shadows. "Those shell companies you asked about?" His gravelly voice came through. "They're all registered to empty offices in Delaware. Classic money laundering setup." I pressed my fingers to my temples. "What else?" "Your husband's been running a pretty sophisticated scheme. Takes deposits from low-income families for affordable housing developments that never materialise. The money gets cleaned through those shell companies, then disappears offshore." My stomach lurched. "How many families?" "At least 50 so far, mostly immigrants, single parents, people who can't afford lawyers." I thought about the charity galas Milo hosted, his speeches about building communities. The whole time he'd been destroying them instead. "I need proof, Zuriel, real proof." Check his voice memos. Guys like him, they love hearing themselves talk. Bet he records meetings without thinking twice. I pulled up Milo's cloud storage on my laptop. He'd never bothered changing the password from our anniversary date. There they were, hundreds of voice recordings, all neatly labelled with dates and times. "Found them," I said, already downloading copies. "I owe you. Just be careful, Mila. Men like him don't lose gracefully." After hanging up, I photographed every document, every statement, every signature. My hands shook, but the images came out clear. I was uploading them to my secure cloud when my phone buzzed again. A text from Yvonne. "Need to talk when you get back from your trip. Important." I stared at her message, remembering all the times she'd cancelled our lunch dates lately. All the work emergencies that kept her busy on weekends. The pieces were there. I'd just been too loyal to see the picture they made. My phone buzzed again. Kyle, Milo's business partner. "Hey, you free for coffee tomorrow? Something's not right at the office." I texted back. "Usual place, 10 a.m. "Perfect. Come alone." I gathered the papers, returning them exactly as I'd found them. In the kitchen I heard the front door open, Milo's familiar footsteps in the foyer. "Honey," he called out, "you home?" I closed the office door softly. "In here. Just finishing some work emails." He appeared in the doorway, loosening his tie. "You're still coming to Mum's brunch tomorrow, right?" "Actually, I have a client meeting. Rain check?" He frowned. "Mum will be disappointed." "I'll make it up to her." I crossed the room and kissed his cheek, fighting the urge to recoil. "Promise." That night I lay awake beside him, listening to his steady breathing. The man I'd married, the life we'd built. It was all as fake as his business dealings. But unlike his other victims, I had something they didn't: access. My phone lit up with another text from Yvonne. "Seriously, we need to talk. It's about Milo." I turned off my phone without responding. Let her squirm. Let her wonder if I knew, so the time for talks would come, but not until every piece was in place. In the darkness, I made a mental checklist. Meet Kyle. Copy more documents. Contact a lawyer. Book the anniversary trip where I'd spring the trap. Beside me, Milo mumbled something in his sleep and reached for me. I let him pull me close, fighting back nausea as his arm draped across my waist. Just a few more days of pretending. A few more days of being the perfect, unsuspecting wife. Then I'd show them all exactly what happened when you mistook kindness for weakness. My laptop glowed faintly from the desk, backup files still uploading to the cloud. In the soft blue light, I smiled. Sometimes the best revenge wasn't served cold. It was served with receipts. Back in the hotel room, I found Milo sprawled on the bed, scrolling through his phone. The photos were gone, tucked safely away in his suitcase, no doubt, as if hiding them could erase what I'd seen. "Feeling better?" he asked, not looking up. Much. I busied myself with my makeup bag in the bathroom. You know what I was thinking about? That violin recital in college. His fingers paused on the screen. What violin recital? The one where Yvonne played Tchaikovsky. Remember? You said it was the most beautiful thing you'd ever heard. He sat up slowly. That was a long time ago. 15 years. I emerged from the bathroom, face freshly washed. You met both of us that night. Funny how things work out, isn't it? Something flickered in his eyes. Uncertainty, maybe. Good. Speaking of work, I continued casually, Kyle seemed worried when I saw him last week. Something about irregularities in the accounts. Milo's head snapped up. You talked to Kyle? Just briefly. He probably mentioned it to you already. No, Milo said, his voice tight. He didn't. I shrugged, turning away to hide my smile. The seed was planted. Let it grow. My phone chimed, a text from Kyle himself. Did what you asked, copied everything from his private server. You won't believe what I found. I deleted the message immediately. Milo was watching me too closely. Who's that? Melanie, wedding drama. I rolled my eyes. You know how she gets. He relaxed slightly, but I could feel his attention like a physical weight. I'd rattled him. Now to twist the knife. Oh, by the way, I said, pulling out my laptop, I need to transfer some money for the interior design conference next month. Mind if I use your banking app? Mine's being weird. I'll do it later. It's due today. Just let me log in real quick. I said I'll do it later, he snapped, then immediately softened his tone. Sorry, just stressed about work. Of course. I closed the laptop. Everything okay? Fine. He stood abruptly. I need some air. The door slammed behind him. I counted to 30 before pulling out my phone and texting Kyle. He took the bait. Start phase 2. While waiting for Milo's return, I thought about that violin recital. Yvonne had been radiant on stage, her music filling the auditorium. I'd been so proud to call her my best friend. After the performance, she'd hugged me tight and whispered, I couldn't have done it without you. Now I wondered if she'd been practicing betrayal even then. My phone buzzed. Yvonne's mother, Emerson. Mila, darling, we need to talk. Yvonne told me everything. I typed back. Did she tell you about the money too? 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Finally, what money? Never mind, wrong person. Please delete this message. I could practically hear her dialing Yvonne's number. Another seed planted. Milo returned an hour later, reeking of whiskey. He didn't speak as he stumbled to bed. I waited until his breathing deepened into snores before retrieving his phone. His password was still my birthday. Some habits die hard. I deleted the warning text he'd sent to Yvonne, replaced it with something more interesting. Kyle knows. We need to be careful. Then I erased all traces of my tampering and returned the phone. In the bathroom mirror, I studied my reflection. The woman staring back looked exactly the same as she had this morning, but something fundamental had shifted, like a key turning in a lock. My phone lit up one final time. Zuriel. Documents received. Story runs next week. Last chance to back out. I typed 2 words. Do it. Crawling into bed, I listened to Milo's drunken mumbling. In his sleep, he reached for me again, but this time I turned away. Let him grab at empty air. It was all he'd have left soon enough. Tomorrow we'd fly home. Tomorrow the real work would begin. But tonight I closed my eyes and remembered the sound of Yvonne's violin, how something so beautiful could hide such ugly truths. The music in my head shifted from Tchaikovsky to a funeral march. Poppy's house always smelled like expensive perfume and judgment. I sat across from my mother-in-law in her sun-drenched conservatory, watching her stir honey into her tea with precise, measured movements. Milo tells me you've been difficult lately, she said, each word dripping with false concern. Did he tell you why? She set down her spoon with a delicate clink. Marriages have rough patches, dear, but throwing around wild accusations doesn't help anyone. I pulled out my phone, placed it face up on the glass table between us. Wild accusations like these. I pressed play on a voice recording from last month. Of course I know about Yvonne. Poppy's recorded voice filled the space. Better her than some gold digger. At least she comes from good stock. The current Poppy's face tightened. You recorded me. Force of habit. I stopped the playback. I record all my client meetings. Never know when someone might dispute a conversation. What do you want? The truth would be nice. She laughed, the same cruel laugh Milo had inherited. The truth. The truth is you were never good enough for him. Always trying so hard. Decorating houses like it matters. Yvonne at least understands our world. Your world of fraud and theft. Her teacup froze halfway to her lips. Be very careful, Mila. Why? Afraid I'll tell people how you helped Milo launder money through your charity foundation? You have no proof. I smiled. Check your email. She grabbed her tablet, manicured fingers trembling slightly as she opened her inbox. I'd sent the evidence while she was making tea. Bank statements, transfer records, emails between her and Milo discussing creative accounting. If you expose this, she whispered, you'll destroy everything. That's the idea. My phone buzzed. Kyle. Meeting set with FBI tomorrow. No turning back now. Poppy was still scrolling through documents, her face growing paler by the second. We can make a deal, she said finally. Name your price. You think this is about money? It's always about money, dear. She set down the tablet. How much to make this go away? How much did those families lose? The ones who paid for homes that never existed? She waved her hand dismissively. Business is business. Sometimes investments don't pan out. You really believe that, don't you? I stood up, gathering my things. Goodbye, Poppy. Wait. She grabbed my arm. Think about what you're doing. This family gave you everything. I pulled free. No, this family took everything. Now I'm taking it back. Outside, my phone rang. Zuriel's number. The Department of Housing Investigation is official, he said without preamble. They want to talk to you. Witness protection if necessary. I won't need it. Don't underestimate them, Mila. Rich people fight dirty when cornered. So do I. I ended the call and checked my messages. 3 from Yvonne, each more desperate than the last. Please call me. We need to talk about this. It's not what you think. A new message popped up from Milo. Mom just called. We need to discuss this now. I typed back. Can't. Meeting Kyle for coffee. His response was immediate. Stay away from Kyle. Why? Afraid he'll tell me something interesting? No response. I could picture him pacing his office, pulling at his hair like he did when things spun out of control. Let him sweat. My actual destination was Zuriel's office, where a stack of documents waited for my signature. Witness statements, financial records, everything needed to bring down not just Milo, but the entire corrupt empire his family had built. Another text from Poppy. You'll regret this. I saved the message with the others. More evidence for the pile. The taxi pulled up to Zuriel's building just as rain began to fall. Perfect weather for what was coming. I checked my lipstick in my compact mirror, adjusted my jacket, and stepped out into the storm. Time to make it rain in more ways than one. The cafe was Yvonne's choice, a trendy place downtown where the lattes cost more than lunch. She was already there when I arrived, fidgeting with her designer watch, her perfect manicure tapping against white ceramic. Mila? She stood, arms opening for a hug. I didn't return. Thank God you came. Sit down, Yvonne. She sank back into her chair, composure cracking slightly. I know you're angry. Angry? I laughed. That's what you think this is? Let me explain. Which part? I pulled out my phone, scrolling through photos. The Paris trip you said was for work, the Bali vacation when you were supposedly visiting your sick aunt, or maybe the weekend in New York when you held me on the phone for an hour, listening to me cry about my marriage problems. Her face crumpled. It wasn't planned. It just happened. For 8 months. I fell in love, she whispered. You can't help who you love. Save the Hallmark cards. I leaned forward. Tell me about the money, she blinked. What money? The $100,000 Milo transferred to your account 3 months ago. Colour drained from her face. That was a business investment. In what business, Yvonne? Your failing marketing firm? Or was it payment for keeping your mouth shut about the housing scam? I don't know what you're talking about. No? I pulled out a document. This email says otherwise. You helped him set up the fake websites, didn't you? Made them look legitimate. Used your marketing skills to lure in victims. They weren't victims, she hissed. They were investors who didn't read the fine print. Single mothers, immigrant families, people who trusted you. It was business. Her voice rose, drawing looks from nearby tables. She lowered it again. Besides, you can't prove anything. I smiled. Check your email. She grabbed her phone, hands shaking as she opened the attachment I'd sent. Screenshots of every incriminating email, every transfer, every fake advertisement she'd created. You can't use these, she said. They're private communications. Nothing's private anymore, Yvonne. You taught me that. What do you want? Want? I want back the 15 years I wasted believing you were my friend. I want back every secret I shared, every tear I cried on your shoulder. I want... My voice cracked, and I took a breath. I want you to live with what you've done. I never meant to hurt you, she whispered. You did worse than hurt me. You made me question every real thing in my life. I stood up. The FBI will contact you soon. I suggest getting a good lawyer. Wait! She grabbed my wrist. Please, my mother, she can't know about this. It would kill her. I pulled free. You should have thought about that before you helped steal people's life savings. Mila, please, we've been friends forever. No, I said quietly. We were never friends. I see that now. Walking away, I heard her start to cry. Real tears or fake ones. I couldn't tell anymore. My phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number. Ms. Moore, this is Agent Rivera with the FBI. We'd like to schedule your formal statement. Outside, I leaned against a wall, suddenly dizzy. The reality of what I was doing, what I'd set in motion, hit me like a physical force. There would be no going back after this. Another message popped up, this one from Melanie. Sis, you okay? You've been weird lately. I'm fine, I typed back, just cleaning house. Need help? Not yet, but soon. My phone rang. Milo's number. I let it go to voicemail, then played the message. Whatever you think you're doing, stop, now. Before you destroy everything, I'm trying to protect you. I saved the voicemail with the others. More evidence of what was coming. A final text from Yvonne. You'll regret this. We all will. I blocked her number and flagged down a taxi. The driver asked where to. Law offices of Harrison and Burke, I said. Time to file some paperwork. The divorce papers were already drawn up, waiting for my signature. But first, I had a few more dominoes to line up. The accounting firm's break room smelled like burnt coffee and fear. Rolando, a junior accountant at Milo's company, couldn't stop fidgeting with his tie as he handed me a thick manila envelope. This is everything, he whispered. Account numbers, fake invoices, even recordings of meetings where they discussed how to hide the money. I slid the envelope into my bag. Why are you helping me? My sister lost her savings to them. His hands clenched. $30,000 for a down payment on a house that never existed. She has 3 kids. Before I could respond, my phone buzzed. Kyle wanted to meet. I have to go, I told Rolando. Stay safe. You too. And Mrs. Moore, make them pay. The coffee shop where Kyle waited was across town, neutral territory. He looked terrible, like he hadn't slept in days. "They're watching me," he said the moment I sat down. "Milo's hired private investigators to follow everyone. Let them watch." I pulled out my phone, started recording. "Tell me everything." "It started small." Kyle's voice shook. "Just a few creative bookkeeping tricks. Then Milo got ambitious, started targeting specific communities, promising affordable housing developments. The perfect scam. Who questions paying a deposit on a new home? How much did they steal?" "Millions." He ran a hand through his hair. "I wanted to stop it, but Milo, he has pictures of me with someone I shouldn't have been with." "His mother's signature move," I nodded. "She did the same to his father's business partner 20 years ago. How did you—" "I do my research." I slid a business card across the table. "This is Agent Rivera's direct line. Call her today. Milo will destroy me. Milo won't be in a position to destroy anyone soon." My phone lit up with a message from Zuriel. "Story goes live tomorrow. Last chance to back out." I typed back, "Run it." Kyle was still hesitating. "What about loyalty?" "Loyalty?" I laughed. "Ask Milo about loyalty. Ask him about the offshore accounts he opened in your name." His head snapped up. "What?" I pulled out copies of the documents Rolando had given me. "He's setting you up to take the fall, Kyle. When this breaks, he'll claim you were the mastermind." "That son of a bitch!" Kyle's hands trembled as he read. "I'll testify, whatever you need." "Good, because—" My phone exploded with notifications. Milo was calling, then Poppy, then Yvonne. A text from Melanie. "OMG sis, turn on the news now." The story had broken early. On the cafe's wall-mounted TV, a reporter stood outside Milo's office building. "Breaking news. Federal authorities are investigating one of the city's largest real estate developers for what could be a multi-million-dollar fraud scheme." Kyle's phone started ringing too. He ignored it, face ashen. "What now?" "Now we wait." Another message from Zuriel. "FBI en route to Milo's office. Get somewhere safe." I stood up. "Go straight to the FBI field office. Don't talk to anyone else." "What about you?" "I have one more stop to make." Outside, my phone rang again, this time a number I didn't recognize. I answered cautiously. "Mrs. Moore," a gruff voice said. "This is Detective Sanders. We need you to come in. Your husband's been making some concerning claims. Let me guess, he says I'm crazy, unstable, making false accusations. Something like that. Check your email, Detective. I just sent you everything you need." A pause. "This is extensive. I've been planning this for a while. We'll need you to—" A text from Milo cut through. "Home, now." "I have to go," I told the detective. "My husband wants to talk." "Mrs. Moore, wait." I hung up, flagged down a taxi. One final confrontation waited at home. My phone buzzed continuously, messages from everyone involved in Milo's scheme, all panicking as their world collapsed. I silenced them all except one. "Melanie, need backup?" "Not yet," I replied, "but stay by your phone." The taxi pulled up to our house. Lights blazed from every window and Milo's car sat in the driveway, slightly crooked like he'd parked in a hurry. Time for the final act. Milo was waiting in our living room, pacing like a caged animal. Empty whiskey glass in hand, tie loosened, hair wild from running his fingers through it. He spun when I entered. "What did you do?" he snarled. "I think you know exactly what I did." He hurled the glass against the wall. I didn't flinch. "You stupid, ungrateful bitch. Do you have any idea what you've done?" "Exposed a fraud, stopped you from stealing from innocent people. Take your pick." "I built this." He gestured wildly around our expensive home. "Everything we have, I built it." "No," I said quietly. "You stole it. There's a difference." He laughed, that same cruel laugh from the hotel room. "And you think you're so clean, living off my money, enjoying the lifestyle it bought you. That's why I've already transferred everything I earned back to your victims." I pulled out my phone, showed him the bank statement. Every penny I made from our joint accounts, donated to the families you destroyed." His face contorted. "You self-righteous! Save it." I tossed a manila envelope onto the coffee table. "Divorce papers. Sign them." "Or what?" "Or I release the recordings of you and your mother planning to frame Kyle. I'm sure the FBI would love to hear those." He grabbed the envelope, ripped it open. "You think you're so clever? I still have the photos of you and that contractor from last year." "The ones you photoshopped," I smiled. "Already sent the original files to your lawyer. Nice try, though." His phone buzzed. He checked it, face draining of colour. "My accounts, they're frozen. All of them, even the ones in the Caymans." "How did you—" "I learned from the best, didn't I? You taught me all about hiding things." He lunged forward, grabbing my arms. "Fix this. Call them off." "Let go of me." "Not until you—" The front door burst open. Melanie stood there, phone raised. "Smile, asshole. You're live on Instagram." Milo released me, stumbling back. "You planned this. I planned everything." I straightened my jacket. "The FBI is outside, by the way. I told them to wait until we were done talking." As if on cue, red and blue lights flooded through the windows. Milo's phone rang. His mother's ringtone. "Don't bother," I said. "She's already in custody. Turns out the charity foundation was a gold mine of evidence." "You think you're better than all of us," he spat. "No one will believe you built this trap." "Actually," Melanie chimed in, still filming, "about 10,000 viewers just watched you confess. Should I send this to the news stations?" Footsteps on the porch, a sharp knock. "FBI, open up." "One last chance." I held out a pen. "Sign the papers." His shoulders slumped. In that moment, he looked old, defeated. He scrawled his signature, hands shaking. "I loved you," he whispered. "No," I took the papers. "You loved what I represented, the perfect wife who looked the other way. Too bad I learned to look closer." The FBI burst in, weapons drawn. Milo didn't resist as they cuffed him. As they led him out, he turned back one last time. "What about Yvonne?" "Oh," I checked my phone. "She's probably dealing with her own problems right now. The SEC is very interested in her role in all this." They took him away. Melanie ended her live stream and hugged me tight. "You okay?" "Better than okay." I looked around the house, all the expensive furniture, the art, the life built on lies. I'm free. My phone buzzed with a text from Zuriel. "Stories going viral. You're trending." Another from Kyle. "Just finished my statement, thank you." And finally, one from Rolando. "My sister's crying. She says to tell you thank you." Melanie squeezed my hand. "What now?" Through the window I watched the FBI cars pull away, carrying my husband to face what he'd done. Somewhere across town, Yvonne was probably being arrested too. Their perfect world was crumbling, and from the rubble, I'd build something real. Now, I picked up my bag, the only thing I planned to take from this house. Now we get coffee, and I tell you about the interior design firm I'm starting, one that actually helps people. We stepped out into the night, leaving the door wide open behind us. Let them all see inside. I had nothing left to hide. The morning sun streamed through the windows of my new design studio as I pinned the last blueprint to the presentation board. A familiar violin melody drifted from the cafe downstairs, the same Tchaikovsky piece from that college recital where everything began. My phone buzzed. Zuriel's name on the screen. "Turn on the news." I flicked on the wall-mounted TV just in time to see Milo being led into the courthouse in handcuffs. The headline scrolled beneath, "Real estate mogul pleads guilty in multi-million-dollar fraud case." "How does it feel?" Zuriel asked. "Like breathing clean air for the first time." A knock at my office door. Kyle stood there, looking younger somehow, despite everything. "Your 9 o'clock is here, the family from the housing project." "Send them in." A woman entered with 3 children, all under 10. Maria, Rolando's sister. Her eyes widened at the framed newspaper article on my wall. Real estate, scam exposed, whistleblowers speak out. Miss Moore, she clutched her purse. My brother said you could help us. Please, call me Mila. I gestured to the design boards. These are my plans for the community housing project. Real ones this time. What do you think? She studied the drawings, tears welling up. This is what we dreamed of. And it's happening. Construction starts next week. I handed her an envelope. Plus, this is your refund. Full deposit with interest. Her hands trembled as she opened it. How? Let's just say Milo's offshore accounts are funding something worthwhile for once. My phone buzzed again. Melanie. Yvonne took a plea deal, rolling on everyone. Her mother won't even take her calls. Good. Justice came in many forms. Maria's youngest daughter tugged at my sleeve. Can I have a purple room? I knelt down beside her. Purple is my favourite colour too. Let's make it happen. The door opened again. Emerson, Yvonne's mother, stood there looking lost. I didn't know where else to go. Come in. I told Maria we'd continue later, waited until she left with her children. Emerson sank into a chair. I should have seen it. All those years. We see what we want to see. Yvonne. She's asking to talk to you. No. I turned back to my blueprints. Some bridges stay burned. She's sorry. Sorry she got caught. I faced her. But that's not why you're here, is it? She pulled out a check. The money from the foundation. I want to donate it to your project. Help make things right. Keep it. Donate it directly to the families. I'm doing fine on my own. My phone lit up with another message from Poppy's lawyer. Client wishes to cooperate fully, willing to testify against her son. The final domino falls. Emerson stood to leave, paused at the door. You've built something remarkable here. No, I smiled. I'm just fixing what they broke. After she left, I walked to the window. Below, Maria and her children were leaving the building, laughing, holding the envelope with their future inside. Across the street, Kyle was interviewing new clients for his reformed real estate company. Even Rolando had started his own accounting firm, dedicated to catching financial fraud. The violin music swelled from downstairs, the crescendo of Tchaikovsky's piece. I used to think that melody represented everything I'd lost. Now it reminded me of everything I'd found. Strength, purpose, justice. My phone buzzed one last time. An unknown number, Milo, calling from jail. I declined the call and blocked the number. The sun caught the edge of my new business card on the desk. More designs, building dreams, not schemes. I picked up my tablet and opened a fresh blueprint. Someone else's dream home waited to be designed. Someone else's trust waited to be restored. The violin music faded into silence, but I didn't need it anymore. I had my own song to play now,